Okay, to get started in Photoshop, I'm going to copy the name of the document. That way it's got when it was made, what's in it, and who it belongs to. By copying that and then going to my Start button, I can look for Photoshop under the A's, Adobe Photoshop. Right now, we're on 2023. Let's create a new file up here. Very important not to just click on whatever's here. Go to Film and Video and find the HDTV 1080p. That'll be the right resolution, and it'll have some blue lines showing us where the safe zone is. Now, we do have the opportunity to paste the name in here first. If not, we would have to do File Save As and then decide what it's going to be called. Now you have an option for background contents. We're going to be putting different backgrounds behind our text, so it doesn't matter too much if it's white or if it's transparent. We do like transparency for many of these things, so I'll go ahead and make it transparent. But either way, when you create it, you're looking at these white lines right here. Now I'm going to draw a text box with the T tool right here. I've got it selected. I am in my workspace for Essentials. So if that ever gets messed up, you can even come down here and reset it back to this standard view. Now to start off with, I'm going to use my T tool. I'm going right here to the corner of where that safe zone is. So as long as I'm inside the blue lines, I'm safe. If it's outside of those outer blue lines, you're way too close to the edge. So I've drawn a text box and it's filled it in with something called lorem ipsum text. Since it's highlighted, as soon as I start typing, it gets rid of it. If I'm not highlighting, then I would be typing down here at the bottom. Now the Control-A keyboard shortcut, very handy. It'll select everything all at once, and then I can type my favorite things. Now this is too small, and this font isn't really what we have in mind, but it is centered already. So if you're over here, you can have it center, and that way as I change my font size, it'll stay centered. Now 300 for this particular font, it is a bit too large, but it's also not the font we're going to keep. Clicking inside this font box, while it's highlighted, allows me to use my up and down arrow keys to cycle through and find a font that is going to work well. The more pixels that are there, the more the effects that we're going to apply are going to be visible. So you don't want anything that's too skinny or too crushed together. Parts of these letters are very, very thin. This one should do fine for what we're doing. Okay. Now I want to make this, now that I've chosen the font, as big as it can go without getting cut off. So if it's 150, I can type 180, and now I've gone all the way to the very edge. It doesn't have to be all on one line, but that's what I'm going to do for mine right now. Now I'm in the middle of typing the text, so I've got to either cancel, or I can say, yes, this is what I want. Commit to that. Clicking on the Move tool is another way that I often find myself just saying, let's go do something else. So I've got my first text box right here. Let's go ahead and add another one for the name. Again, using the T tool, going down here to the corner. Doesn't have to go in this one spot, but now I'm going to type my name. Oh no, it's outside of my corral, but that's okay because I can Control-A, select my first and last name, and maybe pick a different font. For your name, if you want to get fancy or skinny or whatever, that's okay. You can use something, even something like this. Hard to read, but if you really, really want it, you can do that. And notice that now the font is a little bit smaller. Different fonts use different amounts of space. If there is a bold version, I suggest that you use it here, and maybe 180. Let's go up to 190. Maybe make it a little bigger. Maybe make it a lot bigger. Let me do 300. Well, my name disappeared, but I can make the font box bigger too. So you can adjust the corral afterwards, but you certainly wouldn't want it to go off the screen. So just keep that corral so that your text stays inside here. Now it can be a little hard to read. You can see my two layers here. If I end up with some extra layers without meaning to, it's pretty easy to just drag them to the trash can or press delete on your keyboard when they're highlighted, and you can get rid of them as well. So there we've got our first two text box all ready to go.